Subaki is a delinquent loser who is surviving high school with zero riz and has never managed to get a girlfriend before. His boring life changes when a strange transfer girl, Urabe Mikoto, shows up. She sleeps on her desk, keeps scissors in her underwear, and scares the whole class. One day, Subaki tastes her drool by accident, and everything goes downhill fast. From that moment, Urabe becomes his mysterious girlfriend, and chaos begins. The story kicks off with the main character named as Sububaki Akira waking up like a zombie who just lost a fight with his alarm clock. Still half asleep, he stuffs breakfast into his mouth like he's in a speed-eating contest and runs out the door to Kazumedai Metropolitan High School. Sitting in class, the teacher introduces a new transfer student named Urabe Mikoto. The teacher has her sit next to Subaki. He introduces himself and says she can ask him for help anytime. Basically, he's offering free customer service for new girl problems. Urabe, though, doesn't look like the type who ever asks for help. As soon as class ends, she passes out on her desk instead of eating her meal. During the lunch break, some students try to share their food with her, but she refuses and goes back to sleep. Later, during a math lecture, Urabe starts laughing. Suddenly, she bursts into a fit of laughter and everyone stares at her. She immediately apologizes and tells them something personally hilarious just happened. The teacher asks her to explain the personal reason, but she refuses to tell them and behaves cool as ice. The homeroom teacher scolds her and tells her not to laugh like that in class again. After that incident, Urabe is immediately labeled a weirdo on her first day. She spends almost every break sleeping at her desk. Soon, everyone is avoiding her, but one day, Subaki forgets his lunchbox in the classroom and sees Urabe sleeping alone. He wakes her up to head home since class is over. He notices drool on her chin and tells her so she can wipe it off. Subaki stares at it like it's forbidden treasure, touches it, and in a moment of impulse, licks it. He finds it sweet. He immediately realizes what a foolish thing he just did and bolts for his home. That night, he can't stop thinking about Urabe, as this was the first time he had a clear look at her face. He thinks Urabe is pretty cute. That night, he has a dream that a strange girl takes his hand and leads him to a bizarre town he's never seen. The girl turns out to be Urabe and they dance together. A few days pass, but the memory of that dream doesn't fade. One day during PE, Subaki faints and is absent from school for a while. Subaki lies in bed, burning up with a fever and sweating like a broken kettle when Urabe shows up with some handouts. His sister Yoko takes her to his room. Subaki is shocked to see Urabe. He wasn't expecting her to check on him. He learns that she didn't actually bring any handouts. Urabe sits on his bed and tells him he's not sick with a cold. She knows why he's sick. She reminds him that 2 weeks ago when he woke her up, he must have licked the drool on her desk. She asks him to tell her the truth and questions if the drool was sweet. She then opens his mouth and puts her finger, covered in drool, inside, telling him to suck on it. Suddenly, he feels good and his fever vanishes. She tells him that after tasting her drool, he went 2 weeks without ingesting any, so he went through withdrawal. Once he tasted her drool again, he got better. He asks her if it means her drool contains some special kind of bacteria that could cause withdrawal symptoms. She laughs uncontrollably at his reaction. It feels like she just heard the world's dumbest joke. She clarifies that he wasn't sick because of any special substance or bacteria. In fact, he isn't sick because of science. In fact, he's sick because of love. He's not cold sick, he's love sick. She explains that his desire to taste the drool of the girl he loved caused him to go into withdrawal. She tells him that he fell in love with her when he saw her face. Soon after saying this, she leaves, leaving Subaki in a daze. The next day, after school, as Subaki's about to leave, he sees Urabe waiting for him so they can go home together. On their way, Urabe licks her finger and puts it in Subaki's mouth for him to suck. Starting that day, this becomes their daily routine. After a few days, he has another dream where he's dancing with Urabe in a strange room. When he wakes up, he realizes he needs to tell her something. The next day after school, he asks her if she will go out with him because he's in love with her. She tells him to make a move to show her he is serious about making her his girlfriend. He is about to kiss her, but she stops him and makes it clear that she wants him to express himself in a way only he can. She assures him that she will be waiting for him. Subaki immediately opens his wallet and shows her a picture of a girl who was his crush for 3 years. He tells her that after he tasted her drool, he completely forgot about his old crush. He expresses his love by tearing up the picture because he no longer wants her. Suddenly, a flood of drool spills out of her mouth because he did something that made her so happy. She asks him if he's a virgin and tells him that she is too. She reminds him of the first day she burst into laughter. She was laughing because she heard a voice. During class, she happened to look over at him when the voice spoke. The voice said that he would be her first intimate partner. Since that day, she has been waiting for him to ask her out. That day, she officially becomes his girlfriend. Subaki is with his friend Ueno, who tickles him on the arm and asks which private part of a girl resembles this part of flesh and men. Subaki is reminded of Urabe after hearing this. Later, Subaki asks Ueno to imagine he has a girlfriend and tell him what he should do with her first. Ueno tells him to hold her hand. After school, on the way home, Subaki tries to hold Urabe's hand, but she refuses. They've been going out for a month now, but they don't really act like a couple. The only giveaway is her drool. A few days later, Subaki asks Ueno what comes before holding hands. Ueno says communication comes first. After school, school, Subaki asks Urabe about her hobbies. He's surprised by her answer. She pulls out a piece of paper and tells him to hold it taut. Then she takes scissors out of her panties and cuts Camellia since Subaki's name means camellia. He's shocked to see scissors in her underwear and can't believe it. Well, she also doesn't mind if he sees her underwear. Later, he asks his sister if she also carries scissors in her underwear. Late at night, he has a vivid dream where he sees Urabe in white underwear, definitely one spicy dream. The next day, he asks Ueno what comes before the step prior to the first step. Ueno raises an eyebrow, thinking Tsubaki must have a girlfriend, but Tsubaki denies it. He tells Urabe that before communication, the first thing is greeting. During class, Tsubaki is lost in thought and doesn't even know what he's supposed to do. After school, Urabe offers him candy, but he refuses. They skip their usual routine, and he wonders if she's upset because he didn't take the candy or if she just forgot. She comes back and puts the candy into his mouth. Tsubaki holds Urabe, and like a stealthy ninja, she whips out her scissors and does her thing. She warns him not to even rest his arms on her without asking and bounces. He's left scratching his head, wondering how to get close to her without setting off the scissor alarm. Next day, Ueno hands over the movie tickets Tsubaki asked for. After school, Tsubaki asks Urabe to go to a movie with him, but she refuses, saying she already has plans for Sunday. He sits down and asks if she really considers him her boyfriend. He's sad because they haven't done anything, but Urabe tells him they have a bond. She shows him her drool and calls it their bond. As if the drool is the new PDA, they go out of their way, and Urabe leads him to a chaotic house that looks like it's been wrecked. She asks him to promise to keep his eyes closed until she tells him to open them. She says today's drool will be special. As soon as he sucks her finger, his heart starts racing rapidly like he's just seen the final episode of his favorite anime. She asks if he feels hot and bothered, and his heartbeat is pounding like a drum line. His face is wet, which turns out it's a nosebleed. She explains that his body is reacting this way because the drool he tasted was produced while she was feeling very stimulated. She's standing without clothes. He doesn't understand what's going on. She does a special demonstration to make him understand. Afterward, she puts her clothes back on and they leave. On the way, she tells him her heart was pounding so fast because she was wondering if he would open his eyes. He asks what she would have done if he had. She pulls out her scissors again and he hides behind his notebook like it's a shield. After ruining his notebook, she lets him know she would have snapped and lost control. He feels relieved he didn't open his eyes. That night, he has an intense dream, a dream where he slept with Urabe. The next day, while walking with Urabe, his face turns bright red, like a tomato fresh from the vine. He doesn't spill the dream, but Urabe immediately puts her finger in his mouth. Her nose starts bleeding, and she tells him he's free to fantasize about whatever he wants. But she warns him that when a time comes, she won't be wearing a strange doll on her head. He's shocked to learn that she saw the dream he had. She calls it a secret and runs off. If Subaki had to describe his girlfriend, he would say she's a mysterious one. One day, Subaki misses the usual walk home with Urabe because he feels stressed from being the class monitor. While walking by the classroom, he sees Ueno kissing his girlfriend Oka, even though Ueno said before that he doesn't have a girlfriend. Ueno asks them to keep it a secret. Secrets in school are like homework, hard to keep and harder to forget. The next day in class, Subaki keeps thinking about Ueno and Oka, even though he never saw them together before. He also wants a kiss because Ueno got one. Jealousy hits harder than a pop quiz. On the way home, Urabe asks to stop by the park for a bit. They do their homework there, and Subaki tells her about Ueno and Oka kissing. She asks if he wants to kiss her too, and he agrees. She takes out a test tube from her bag, spins around quickly, grabs it back, and spits something into it. She tells him to lick it before going to sleep. That night, he licks Urabe's drool and wonders why it tastes so sweet. Sweet dreams just got sweeter and stickier. He dreams about Urabe feeding him candy with a kiss. The next day, he tells her about the dream. She takes him aside and asks if he wants to kiss her. He says their first kiss should be special, so they should wait until they feel more connected. She agrees, and they go back. The next day, a student named Ogata asks Urabe to walk with him to the incinerator because he wants to tell her something. He asks her out. Later, on the way home, Urabe gives Subaki some drool and tells him about Ogata. She says she told Ogata to wait one day for her answer. Subaki wants to tell Ogata about their relationship, but Urabe stops him. That night, Subaki worries that Urabe is waiting because she's choosing between Ogata and him. The next day, Ogata follows Urabe out of the classroom. Urabe tells Subaki to close his eyes and puts her drool in his mouth. He doesn't feel anything, and she says he has no chance of being her boyfriend. This is a cold splash of reality. After school, Urabe tells Subaki she said no to Ogata. She tells him to open his mouth and puts her finger full of drool inside. When he licks it, his nose starts bleeding. She already knew this would happen. She shows him the panties she was supposed to wear today and says she didn't wear any. She waited a day to give Ogata an answer because she wanted something to compare her bond with Subaki to. She feels strange because she didn't wear panties all day. Anyone who tastes her drool would have a strong reaction. Ogata didn't have any reaction, but Subaki's nosebleed means he connects with her. Feeling emotional, he tries to hug Urabe, but she jumps away. She tries to get her panty scissors, but they aren't there today. He thinks it would be crazy if her skirt flew up now. She pulls scissors from her bag and tells him never to put his arms around her without asking. Holding hands, they walk home. Suddenly, her skirt flies up, and his nose starts bleeding badly again. Talk about unexpected drama. The next day, he asks Ueno why he is grinning like an idiot who just won the lottery. Ueno says he is excited because starting tomorrow, they will switch to summer uniforms for PE. All winter, his girlfriend was covered up in a tracksuit, but now he finally gets to admire the gym uniform. Subaki also thinks about Urabe in gym clothes and suddenly feels like he just discovered the meaning of life. Oka goes to Urabe, but Urabe refuses to eat lunch because she wants to sleep. Oka sits next to her and starts eating anyway. The smell of the food is so good that Urabe wakes up instantly like an alarm clock powered by omelet. Oka offers her some, and Urabe takes a bite, leaving the entire class staring like they just witnessed a miracle. Then Oka gives her shrimp egg rolls, followed by bacon and burdock stir fry. Urabe is basically eating a 3-course meal while the whole class questions reality. On the way home, Subaki asks Urabe if something happened with Oka since she ate lunch with her today. Urabe has never made friends since transferring and always keeps to herself, so today was a rare exception. Seeing her talking to Oka made him happy. Like watching the class's lone wolf suddenly join the pack, Urabe calmly tells him she doesn't need friends because she already has a boyfriend. Subaki feels his ego skyrocket like he just got promoted to exclusive VIP. She then puts her drool on her finger, lets him suck it, and leaves as if that's a normal way of showing affection. That night, she dreams of feeding him an omelet mouth to mouth. Subaki wakes up in shock, probably questioning his life choices. The next morning in PE class, the girls changed into summer uniforms. The boys practice judo inside while the girls run relays outside. Urabe falls during running, and Oka, being the class health rep, takes her to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, Ueno defeats Subaki in judo and flexes hard, saying scars are medals of honor. Subaki, of course, is left thinking. At the nurse's office, the nurse is missing in action, so Oka steps in as the substitute doctor. She tells Urabe to sit and puts a bandage on her knee. Then she grabs a soda from the fridge and offers it to her. Urabe takes a sip and thanks her politely, proving soda does cure everything. Oka then admits she finds Urabe fascinating and wants to be her friend. Urabe refuses, saying she doesn't need friend. Oka takes the rejection like a champ and says she'll head back to class. But Urabe notices Oka is bleeding from her right leg, just like she is. Things get spooky real quick. Urabe picks up a cutter, makes a small cut on her hand, and tells Oka to suck her finger immediately. Oka sucks her drool, and suddenly her left hand starts bleeding like Urabe's. Urabe explains it happened because they shared the soda, and her drool got inside Oka's body. Translation, they now share a freaky soul link. Urabe apologizes for dragging Oka into her mystical spit magic. Oka, still shocked, asks if this makes them friends. Urabe says no, because she already has someone else connected to her drool. Oka instantly guesses Subaki, admitting she once saw them when walking home. From a distance, she saw Urabe letting him taste her drool and nearly fainted at the sight. After that, she started observing them secretly, which only made her more curious. She confesses she was interested in Subaki too, but figured it'd be a bad idea to go after him, so she went after Urabe instead. At least she aims high. Urabe warns Oka that if something strange happens to her body, the same thing will happen to Subaki. Drool apparently doubles as Wi-Fi for emotions. Oka is shocked at the info, but Urabe insists she only needs one person in her life, so she doesn't need friends. The whole situation sounds less like friendship and more like joining an exclusive subscription service of premium drool access for members only. After school, she gives Subaki her drool again, and instantly his hand and knee start hurting. Congratulations, he now officially feels her pain, literally. The next morning, Ueno is excited again. He tells Subaki he's going to ask Oka to eat lunch with him secretly. His has a genius plan in his mind to use telepathy. If he thinks hard enough, maybe she'll magically hear it. During lunch break, he tries his brainwave Wi-Fi plan, but nothing happens. Oka heads off to Urabe, and Ueno chases after her, only to fail miserably. His telepathy powers are about as useful as a broken TV remote. Oka finds Urabe and, after thinking for a bit, points her finger at her. She tells Urabe to lick her drool to reveal something about her relationship with Subaki. Urabe does it, and says it tastes incredibly sweet, sweeter than anything ever before. Oka closes her eyes and remembers her first kiss with her boyfriend. She realizes the drool is connected to that memory. Since Urabe and Subaki's drool isn't that sweet, it means they haven't kissed yet. Basically, Oka just became a drool detective. Then she shows Urabe the lunch she made. Normally, Urabe never feels hungry, but after eating Oka's food once, her body rhythm changed. Food magic beats spit magic this time. Okay, wanting to grow closer, asks Urabe to keep sharing lunch with her, even if they're not friends. Just a casual lunch partners with drool sharing benefits deal. Ueno and Subaki happen to see Oka feeding Urabe. Subaki is so stunned, he looks like his brain just blue screen. While playing football, Ueno runs over to pick up the ball on the other side and spots the girls swimming. He notices Oka in a swimsuit and starts drooling. One by one, the boys intentionally miss their shots just to sneak a peek at the girls in swimsuits. They even start scoring each girl based on their figures. Now, only Urabe remains on the list. It's Subaki's turn to take a shot, but just as he's about to kick, he catches a glimpse of Urabe cleaning herself. He misses the goal and the chance to see her in a swimsuit, even though he was really close. It was like he was so close to the perfect shot, but the view stole the show. Later, after school, the sun is scorching hot, so both decide to eat ice cream on their way home. Subaki asks if today the last swimming class. Urabe says there are still a few more sessions left. The heat is intense, and Subaki notices that Urabe smells nice. He leans in a little closer as she almost pulls out her scissors, but suddenly the rain starts pouring. They quickly take shelter under a tree since neither has an umbrella. Furious, Subaki asks if she's wearing perfume because she smells so good. Urabe laughs and says it's just the smell of her sweat. She explains that her sweat tastes like seawater and offers her arm for him to taste. When he does, he pictures her on a beach in a swimsuit. It feels so refreshing to smell the sweat that takes him to the ocean. He asks her to go swimming together, and she agrees. From then on, tasting her drool while walking to and from school became a daily ritual during summer break. Since it's summer break, Subaki wants to ask her out, but every time she finishes, she leaves before he can say anything. It becomes a habit of hers of always slipping away before the big ask. One day, he finally gathers enough courage and stops her bike to ask if she'll go out with him tomorrow. She says she can only go after a week because she's visiting her family's house. They decide to meet at 7 at Kazumidai Station the following week. He is waiting for the big day like a kid before a holiday. He becomes very excited at the thought of seeing Urabe in a swimsuit. Back at home, his sister notices his goofy grin but doesn't say anything. The week flies by with dreams of the beach, and finally, the day arrives. He believes waiting was hard but was worth it. He's running late that day and his sister smiles knowingly. When he arrives at the station, he sees Urabe, tanned with slightly pale skin from visiting her grandfather's oceanside house. They head to the beach, where girls wear revealing swimsuits. Urabe is in a bikini and looks stunning, and she generously shares her yakisoba with him, which tastes delicious. In the ocean, he struggles to keep up because Urabe swims so fast. She tells him she has been swimming since she was a child and is quite skilled. Subaki watches her in the bikini underwater. When she asks what he's looking at, he awkwardly says he's just admiring her unique swimming style. Urabe mentions she usually doesn't swim with her skirt on, but since her dad's family beach is private and empty, she swam with her scissors tucked into her swimsuit. Now, she has tan lines shaped like scissors. She shows him the tan lines, and immediately, his nose starts bleeding. He quickly tells her to swim back to shore. The day continues, and as they head back, Urabe says she had a lot of fun. Suddenly, she puts her finger in his mouth and licks his drool. Her nose starts bleeding as well. Drool exchange feels like the secret handshake of mysterious couples. He tells her about his nosebleed when he saw the tan lines. She asks if he wants to see them again. He agrees and says she should show him next summer when they visit the beach again. Subaki thinks that even with a tan and in a swimsuit, Urabe remains as mysterious as ever. However, some mysteries just get better with a little sun. One day, Subaki is standing at a bookstall when suddenly Oka crashes into him like a summer storm. She says summer vacation is almost over, so they have to grab some ice cream while they can. After all, it's not every day she runs into a classmate. She drags him off, and soon they're sharing ice cream. Subaki can't help but notice Oka looks like a grade school kid who rated the dessert menu, but her chest is definitely not kid-sized. He jokes that if Ueno finds out they're eating ice cream alone, he'll probably have a meltdown worthy of a soap opera. Oka laughs and says Ueno actually trusts him, even if his sports and grades get an average rating, and adds that Subaki is a genuinely nice guy. Oka casually calls Ueno by his first name, which throws Subaki for a loop. He wonders if Ueno does the same, but can't picture Urabe and Ueno being that casual. Then Oka calls Subaki by his first name, and he's completely baffled. She touches his sweat and licks her finger, which sounds gross but proved effective. She then teases him, asking if he's been daydreaming about the girl he likes, calling him by his first name. Subaki denies it faster than a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. The first morning after summer break finally arrives, but like always, it feels like dragging through mud. Subaki and Ueno chat when Ueno spots a tan on Subaki and guesses he hit the beach. Subaki fibs that he went with his sister probably to avoid any Urabe-related detective work. Later, Oka tells Urabe she bumped into Subaki and they talked about Ueno and her calling each other by first names. She says Subaki was probably daydreaming about Urabe doing the same. Then Oka sticks her finger in Urabe's mouth and sucks her drool, instantly turning Urabe's face into a ripe tomato. Oka figures Urabe must be fantasizing about Subaki calling her by her first name, but Urabe denies it with the grace of a ninja. Oka just thinks Urabe is adorable. After school, Subaki asks Urabe if she wants to stop by the park. He goes to grab a drink for her. When he returns, he finds Urabe asleep on a bench. He tries to wake her, but she's out cold. He leans in and whispers her first name in her ear. She wakes up with a smile that could melt glaciers. He nearly calls her Mikoto again, but switches gears mid-sentence like a deer in headlights. That night, he dreams about Urabe and wakes up so fast he probably broke a world record. Next day, he pulls out his camera and asks if he can take her picture. He tries to get a big smile, but she refuses, saying forced smiles belong in cheesy commercials. She walks off, leaving Subaki wondering if he's just a bad photographer or if she's just a mystery wrapped in scissors. The next day, while waiting for Urabe, Hayakawa, who was Subaki's old crush, runs into him and asks if he remembers her. She invites him to a cafe, but he declines, saying he's got other plans. Urabe overhears but stays quiet, thinking he's having a good time. She asks if Hayakawa is the same crush he used to have. He says he doesn't like her anymore and turned down the invite. Urabe looks a bit jealous. Nothing says jealousy like a drool ultimatum. He asks if she'd be mad if he went to the cafe with Hayakawa, but she ignores him and just pulls out her drool, telling him to open his mouth. Well, the moment he sucks her drool, tears start streaming down his face. Urabe says she wouldn't be mad if he went with Hayakawa. She'd be sad enough to cry all over him. He admits he once thought Hayakawa was pretty and felt a pang of regret after turning her down. But right now, Urabe is the one he loves with all his heart. He tells her to freeze so he can snap a picture of her smiling forever. She doesn't smile but threatens to cut the photo with her scissors if he doesn't want it. He assures her he'll treasure it forever. Suddenly, he saw Urabe drool coming out of her mouth, but she did not tell him the reason, so they continued walking home. During PE, Urabe becomes the second fastest runner in their class, neck and neck with Yajima-san. Yajima approaches Urabe and invites her to join the track team. At first, she refuses, but when she hears about the relay race for the upcoming sports festival, then she starts thinking of it. After school, Subaki mentions that he heard their class is sending Urabe and Yajima for the girls' relay. He's surprised at how fast Urabe moves, even with her panty scissors. She lets him know she was invited to join the team, but won't accept because she wouldn't be able to walk home with him. He gets emotional and tries to hug her, but clever Urabe dodges. Looks like those panty scissors aren't just for show, they're also good for a quick escape. She reminds him of her earlier words of not throwing arms at her without her permission. The next day, during PE, Urabe asks to practice during lunch instead of after school. Oka brings her a water bottle and asks if she really won't join the team. With legs like hers and some practice, she could make it to the national championships. But Oka is amazed to see that Subaki has those golden legs all to himself. Oka knows Urabe is refusing because she wants to keep walking home with Subaki. Urabe returns to practice without answering Oka's questions, as if she believes some secrets are worth sprinting to protect. Subaki watches Urabe practicing from the window. That night, his older sister gave him his winter uniform, already clean. She tries on her old winter uniform and happily notes it still fits perfectly. Subaki thinks about Urabe and feels she isn't his alone anymore, as he saw her talking to other girls at school. The next day at school, Oka feeds Urabe by hand during lunch. Subaki is absent, caught by a cold. Urabe tells Oka she plans to visit Subaki today. Oka mentions Ueno, who was sick a few days ago, and how she went to his house. She whispers something to Urabe about what she did with Ueno that helped him get better. Urabe visits Subaki, making an excuse about bringing handouts when there aren't any. He reminds her how she first visited and treated his cold by giving him her drool. This time, he is actually sick and sad to miss the sports festival. She tells him to suck her drool. As soon as he tastes it, an image of sun and summer pops into his mind. He starts feeling lighter and warmer. Though not fully recovered, he feels energized. It sounds like the drool therapy is the hottest new treatment on campus. She returns home, shivering despite the sunny day because she's only wearing a swimsuit under her coat. At the Kazumadai High School Sports Festival, Subaki is also present. Urabe thanks Oka because her story gave her an idea. When she visited Ueno, he expressed a wish to see her in a swimsuit, saying only that could give him strength to live. Urabe decides to fulfill Ueno's request. She changes into a bikini but doesn't let Subaki touch her. She approaches him and asks if he finds the strength to keep going. However, Urabe tells Oka she doesn't want her boyfriend to see her in a swimsuit when he's sick, which is why she didn't show Subaki what she's wearing under her coat, because timing is everything, especially when it comes to revealing bikinis. Oka tries to put her finger into Urabe's mouth, but Urabe blocks her. Oka manages to sneak her finger in anyway and licks the drool. Her face starts burning because Urabe is embarrassed. Oka thinks she must have some unique reason, but it's actually pretty normal. Suddenly, an announcement is made about the class relay race starting. Oka feels the time has come for Subaki to share Urabe's golden legs with the rest of the class for a little while at least. Sharing is caring unless it's about golden legs. As the race begins, every boy's eyes are glued to Urabe's legs, passing various comments. Urabe runs so fast she passes every contestant, catching up to Yajima and winning the race, leaving Yajima behind. Everyone cheers for Urabe. Yajima approaches her again, praising her and once more asking her to join the track team. Third time's the charm, Yajima. Urabe looks at Subaki, happy from her win. Later, before leaving school, Subaki goes to the locker room but notices Urabe's name tag has been removed. On the way home, he suggests Urabe join the track team. After seeing the relay, he thinks he might be holding back her potential. He tells her they can still meet a couple of times a week for their ritual. She tells him to open his mouth and puts her finger full of drool inside. She realizes he wasn't serious about joining the team because he smiles after tasting her drool, meaning he wants her legs all to himself. She pulls up her skirt, revealing the name tag stuck to her body. She reassures him not to worry because she enjoys their walks home much more than any tram team. Apparently, the grass isn't greener on the track team side. He gets emotional and tries to hug her, but she quickly dodges. He tells her to race him to their usual spot. Deep down, he knows it's selfish, but he wants Urabe's legs and mysterious nature all to himself. One day, he had a dream that he touched his girlfriend Urabe's private parts. When he wakes up, he can still feel the soft sensation from his dream. The feeling sends a shiver down his spine. He starts wondering how it will feel in real life. Instantly, he gets up and decides to leave his room. He tells his sister that he is going to the nearby bookstore. His sister offers him some meat buns, but he still feels the same way as in his dream and refuses to eat. He enters the store but immediately sees something related to his dream. Instead of helping, it only makes things worse, so he leaves quickly. Not even half an hour passes before he wonders where he should go next. He walks the route that he and Urabe usually take home. Curious about where Urabe lives, he goes deeper into that area. He sees a building called Green Village Kazamidai and thinks maybe Urabe lives there. Suddenly, Urabe appears, returning from the nearby supermarket on her bicycle. She notices him standing outside the building and asks what he's doing there. Surprised to run into her, he quickly tries to leave, but she stops him and asks why he doesn't come inside for a drink. He goes with her inside the building. She lives on the 10th floor, so they take the elevator to her apartment. When they arrive, the place is empty. She tells him she is alone today. He sits down while she opens her coat buttons and goes to get drinks. He feels nervous because after seeing Urabe, the sensation from his dream starts to come back. He remembers the tight sweater she is wearing, which makes her chest very noticeable. He decides to control himself since it is his first time at her place. He touches the bed where Urabe sleeps and notices it smells just like her. Suddenly, Urabe comes back and asks what he is doing. He quickly says he was just touching the bed because it looked comfortable. She gives him a drink and they start talking. He tells her he was out for a walk and somehow ended up there, calling it a coincidence. The weather turns cloudy. She asks if something is on his mind. He refuses and does not tell her anything. Although he keeps thinking about his dream, he denies it. He wonders if this is a chance from the gods, both of them alone in her room after such a dream. He tries to get closer, but a strange look on her face scares him away. Suddenly, thunder rumbles loudly. She reaches to turn on the light but gets scared by the thunder and falls toward him. He thinks this is his chance to touch her chest, but she immediately pulls out her scissors and asks what he's trying to do. He tells her about his dream and how he can't forget the feeling. She asks what it felt like in the dream. He says it was soft and firm. She puts down her scissors, touches her own chest, then puts her finger in his mouth. As he licks her finger, the feeling is even stronger than in his dream and tears start flowing from his eyes. She tells him he can touch her chest if he wants, but they should wait until both want it and not get carried away. She counts to 3 and tells him to touch before she finishes counting or he'll lose his chance. He immediately touches her chest before she reaches 3. He can't believe it. He feels Urabe's heart beating under his hand. Urabe's heart was pounding like a drum solo. He gently pushes Urabe down and lies on top of her, licking her ear like a cat. He is about to kiss her when he sees tears in her eyes. Worried he made her cry, he quickly apologizes and leaves. He gets up and runs home in the rain, moving fast. After he leaves, Urabe touches her ear, trying to feel again the sensation she had when he licked it. The next day, Oka feeds Urabe her lunch. Urabe gives Oka her drool as dessert. After tasting it, Oka's heart starts pounding fast, her body heats up, and even her glasses fog up. She asks Urabe what happened between her and Subaki. Urabe says she felt a strange sensation she had never had before. Oka assures her that it's normal because senses change after falling in love. This time, when Oka tastes Urabe's drool, her heart races like never before, but she believes Urabe knows the reason behind it. Urabe gets up, thanks Oka for lunch, and leaves. Oka thinks something big must have happened between Urabe and Subaki because her glasses fogged again. Urabe runs fast, holding her ear and remembering the sensation by moving her finger around it. During class, Subaki recalls what happened the day before and feels ashamed. After school, he apologizes again to Urabe, but she says she is not mad. She offers him her drool, but he refuses, saying he doesn't have the right to taste it and wants her to hit him before they start their ritual. The guilt was heavy, and for the first time, Subaki knew exactly what it felt like to be on a digital detox. His brain was screaming for that sweet, sweet drool, but his heart just wasn't having it. She says her slap will sting, but he doesn't care. She slaps him, leaving a bruise on his face. It feels like the slap has left a clear handprint. She tells Subaki to touch her ear, which surprises him. She asks him to grip her ears harder. As he does, tears appear in her eyes. She says it's his fault because he changed her senses when he licked her ears. She puts her finger in his mouth and tells him that if he feels he deserves punishment for yesterday, then she must do the same. She licks his drool. Her face still bears the bruise from slapping Subaki and now has the same mark on her face. She feels responsible for what happened. However, Subaki thinks she should have tasted his drool. He holds her face because he wants to see the bruise on the girl he loves. She starts blushing, quickly puts her finger in his mouth again to give her drool, and then instantly leaves. Subaki feels embarrassed after what he said. He remembers Urabe's words about her changing senses and thinks they will continue to change in many ways. At Kazumidai Metropolitan High School, Subaki notices Urabe's hair is an absolute disaster. It looks like she just woke up from a battle with her pillow. He thinks it's a waste since she has such a cute face. A little fixing up would make a big difference. Just then, Oka shows up and immediately comments on Urabe's messy hair, telling her she should take better care of it. Oka decides to take matters into her own hands. She blow dries Urabe's hair and styles it into 2 ponytails. Since Urabe usually hides her eyes under her bangs, Oka figures that showing them might completely change her appearance. Urabe agrees to try it out. When Urabe enters the classroom with her new hairstyle, jaws drop. Her eyes are visible for the first time and everyone starts complimenting her. The girls call her adorable, and even the boys who used to think she was just strange start praising her. At football practice, the boys are still gossiping about how cute she looks. Hearing other guys talk about his girlfriend makes Subaki burn with jealousy. After school, he asks if she'll wear her hair like that again tomorrow. Urabe shrugs and says Oka did it, so if Oka styles it again, she'll keep it. But Subaki doesn't want that. Until now, he's been the only one who got to see her face properly, and he doesn't want to share with the whole school like some free sample. Urabe smiles, takes out her ponytails, and tells him to mess up her hair. Subaki gladly does, restoring it to its usual wild, untamed look. Urabe promises not to wear ponytails again if he doesn't like them. Secretly, Subaki thinks she looks best in her natural style anyway, and Urabe admits she actually enjoys having him mess it up. It feels good, like a strange little love language. The next day at lunch, Oka excitedly tells Urabe she has another perfect hairstyle idea, but Urabe refuses on the spot. Oka is surprised, but instead of pressing, she decides to share her new recipe for bacon-wrapped pasta. Priority priorities. Oka quickly guesses the truth. Subaki is being possessive and told Urabe not to try new hairstyles so other boys won't see her full face. To test her hunch, she puts her finger in Urabe's mouth and tastes her drool. Her heart starts racing instantly. Yep, something big is definitely going on between Urabe and Subaki. Urabe then shows Oka how Subaki made her feel good simply by messing up her hair. Oka is stunned by how intimate it sounds. Later, she goes to Yuno and asks him to mess up her hair too. When he does, her glasses fog up. Oka blushes, realizing it actually feels nice when someone like him does it. She starts to think Urabe and Subaki might be doing more than just hair messing. The next day, Nakajima from the photography club goes full entrepreneur and starts selling photos of Urabe with her new hairstyle. The boys buy them like limited edition trading cards. Subaki, however, is furious to think how dare someone sell pictures of his girlfriend's face when even he barely gets to see it. Ueno notices Subaki's angry expression and jokes. Subaki also wants a photo too, although it might hurt his pride, but he thinks that at least he will have one. The boys also point out that Urabe looks like an idol named Imai Momoka, though with a less approachable vibe. Subaki, confused, realizes he's never heard of this idol before. Later, Subaki visits a bookstore and finds Imai Momoka's photo book. He flips through it and is shocked by how much she looks like Urabe. Before he knows it, he's hugging the photo book like a guilty fanboy. Ueno sees him with it later and immediately teases him for being caught red-handed. At home, Subaki keeps the photo book close, marveling at the resemblance. The next day, Ueno tells Oka about the photos, and Oka wonders if Subaki bought one. Ueno says no, but he did buy the idol's photo book, so it's basically the same thing, proof that Urabe is 100% his type. Eventually, Oka slides Urabe's hair aside to check for herself and confirms that Urabe really does look like Imai Momoka. Urabe then asks Subaki to bring the photo book so she can see it with her own eyes. When he shows her his favorite photo, Urabe doesn't hesitate for even a second. She pulls out her scissors and slices the photo book. She tells him flatly that as her boyfriend, he doesn't need to admire some idol just because she looks like her. At that moment, Subaki realizes something important. Possessiveness goes both ways. Urabe is just as protective of him as he is of her. In other words, these two might be the messiest couple in school, but at least they're equally obsessed with each other. At the bookstore, Subaki finds a special edition photo book of idol Imai Momoka. He grabs it immediately but makes a mental note to himself that Urabe must never find out about this. He convinces himself it's fine because he only likes Momoka since she looks like Urabe, which is totally logical. As he leaves the store, he runs into Hayakawa, who recently cut her hair short. They decide to walk home together, chatting about Ueno and some old middle school classmates. Along the way, Hayakawa asks him if he has a girlfriend. Nervous, Subaki lies and says no, but Hayakawa doesn't buy it. She remembers how he used to stare at her back in middle school, so she's certain there's a girl in his life now, even if he's denying it. Hayakawa remembers the school days when Subaki sits right behind in class, staring at the back of her head more than the chalkboard. The mystery of how this gets noticed remains unsolved. She then laughs and explains that the geometry box has a mirror inside it, so she knew when he stares at her. Basically, free CCTV service in math class. He gets embarrassed after knowing it. Seeing him embarrassed, she smiles and admits she cut her hair short because she just broke up with her boyfriend. Subaki feels bad for her and thinks he should support her if it helps her regain her confidence. Then Hayakawa brings up a story of back in middle school when she dropped a strand of hair. Subaki secretly picked it up, put it in a capsule, and used to sniff it like a full certified hair sniffer. Hayakawa laughs at the memory, finding his weirdness amusing. Subaki tells her no guy in his right mind would dump her since she's cute and sweet. Suddenly, Hayakawa starts crying. Subaki panics, thinking he upset her, but strangely, he finds her cuter than ever, especially when he notices a little drool coming out of her mouth. She asks if they can meet up sometimes just to talk. Subaki wonders what another girl's drool might taste like and jokingly says he'll agree if she lets him taste hers. To his surprise, Hayakawa agrees. She holds out her finger and tells him to lick it. Subaki can't believe what's happening. He leans closer but suddenly stops. Tears fall from his eyes. He remembers Urabe's words and realizes that if he tastes another girl's drool, his bond with Urabe will be broken. He apologizes and pulls away. Hayakawa sees through him and guesses he really does have a girlfriend. Subaki admits the truth. She asks if he has already tasted his girlfriend's drool, and when he says yes, she teases him by saying her drool would be even sweeter. Finally, she asks who the girl is. He answers her that her name is Urabe. Hearing this, Hayakawa leaves, looking disappointed. Subaki decides he won't tell Urabe about this meeting. Later that evening, Hayakawa can't stop thinking about it. Deep down, she wishes she had seen Subaki taste her drool. She's sure that if it were back in middle school, he would have done it without hesitation. The next day, she goes directly to Urabe, but Urabe already knows who she is because Subaki had shown her a picture. Hayakawa feels oddly happy knowing that even though Subaki failed to recognize her, Urabe did. Before leaving, she gives Urabe an invitation to the Hoshinome Girls Academy Cultural Festival, saying Subaki is also coming. That night, Hayakawa calls Subaki and asks to meet. She shows him a bruise from her ex-boyfriend. Apparently, after she refused to take him back, he hit her. She pleads with with Subaki to come to the festival with her since her ex will be there too. If her ex sees her with another guy, he'll give up. In short, she asks Subaki to pretend to be her boyfriend. Seeing her desperation, Subaki agrees to help. Hayakawa thanks him and hugs him before leaving. The next day, while tasting Urabe's drool, she casually asks if he has any plans on Sunday. Subaki lies again, saying he's going shopping with Ueno. But later in the school, Oka shows Urabe the very same invitation and says she's going to the festival with Ueno. Urabe is shocked, realizing Subaki lied. Finally, the 7th Hoshinome festival arrives. Subaki feels guilty about lying to Urabe, but sees no way out. Everyone is wearing costumes, and Hayakawa shows up dressed in her middle school uniform and a wig. She spins around and asks him if she looks the same as back then in middle school. Then, grabbing his hand, she pulls him along excitedly to show him everything around the festival. Hayakawa is holding onto his arm tightly because, for today, he is her boyfriend. He hesitates, but she calmly explains that her ex is watching them and they need to act close. Oka arrives with her boyfriend Ueno. When she spots a maid cafe, she and Ueno go inside. After returning from the restroom, Ueno goes into the cafe but can't find Oka. Oka then serves him tea, which he spills in shock when he sees that she is the maid. Oka is very happy in her uniform. Some boys start taking her picture, which makes Ueno mad, so he leaves to see the rest of the festival. Suddenly, Oka spots Subaki with Hayakawa and can't believe her eyes. She wonders what's going on. Hayakawa takes Subaki to a quiet area where no other students are around. She reminds him of the time they were on the same committee. Oka follows them and finds them there. Hayakawa recalls a time when he was about to put his arms around her but couldn't. She moves closer to Subaki and tells him to grab her now, reminding him she's the same girl from middle school. He refuses. Hayakawa tries to manipulate him, asking if the reason is that he has a girlfriend now. He takes off her wig and holds his hand. She tells him that if he becomes her boyfriend, she will grow her hair back to the length it used to be. He reminds her again that he has a girlfriend. She then tells him to taste her drool and choose between her and his girlfriend. Oka is about to snap a picture of Subaki, but a robot suddenly quiets her. It's Urabe, who tells her to stay there. Urabe peeks in through the window herself. Subaki refuses to taste Hayakawa's drool. Urabe enters the room with the confidence of a final boss, telling Hayakawa that she'll join her in testing Subaki. She blindfolds Subaki and announces that she and Hayakawa will play rock, paper, scissors to decide whose drool he tastes first, and he must tell them whose is sweeter. After Urabe wins like a pro, she puts her drool in his mouth. His nose starts bleeding, and he instantly knows it's Urabe. Urabe, like a hero, cuts the boxes. From the wreckage, she steps out like a warrior in a spotlight completely naked. She tells Hayakawa to try and see if Subaki's nose will bleed, as she does the same thing. Hayakawa also takes off her clothes and puts her drool in his mouth. He wonders if his nose will bleed. However, the fact that both girls are standing naked is enough to make his nose bleed. He asks Urabe if she is okay with this, and after she gives her permission, he is about to lick her finger, but Hayakawa starts crying. Urabe explains that Hayakawa's tears are tears of rejection, which means she wouldn't be crying if she truly liked Subaki. Subaki tells Hayakawa to stop because he understands that her emotions are a mess. She cries because everyone she has ever loved has always loved someone else instead of her. She has never experienced reciprocal love. He tries to calm her down. Meanwhile, Urabe goes to Hayakawa and tells her to open her mouth. She inserts her finger into Hayakawa's mouth and tastes her drool, which she finds very sweet. This means Hayakawa will find someone who loves her back. Subaki also thinks about tasting Hayakawa's drool to see if it's really that sweet. He tries to laugh at his own thought, but suddenly his blindfold falls off, and he sees both of them without clothes. Oka comes inside and tells him that Subaki saw them. Hayakawa screams and they both slap him hard. He falls to the ground after 2 strong slaps but looks happy. Oka asks why they are arguing naked in a classroom. Hayakawa starts laughing at the thought, then explains everything to Oka. She says she had a lot of fun and saw something fascinating. She's impressed by their drool bond and is a little jealous. After the festival, Subaki asks Urabe if she's mad that he lied and secretly met with Hayakawa. She says she can't blame him because he liked Hayakawa in middle school. She then tells him about a boy she used to like and asks how he would feel if she went to see him without telling him. He gets worried, but Urabe quickly reveals that she was lying and the whole story was made up. She tells Subaki to remember the golden rule, and he immediately apologizes. She clarifies that she has never been in a relationship, liked anyone, or kissed anyone. She licks his drool and smiles, which mirrors how he feels right now. She calls him such a boy and runs off, and Subaki thinks he can't deny that he is such a boy. Oka holds out a pair of scissors and some cardboard to Urabe and says her to show her that cool trick again. Urabe refuses. Instead, she asks Oka what Subaki did after seeing her naked, adding that for a boy, something like that could be really dangerous. Oka secretly takes a photo of Urabe. Urabe sees it and tries to grab the phone, but Oka is too quick. Urabe, with lightning speed, pulls out her scissors and shreds the photo into tiny pieces. Because basically, no evidence means no problem. Later, as they walk, Subaki's mind keeps replaying the moment he saw Urabe without clothes. After she gives him her daily dose of drool, she asks to taste his. She puts his finger in her mouth mouth and the whole body instantly heats up like someone just cranked the thermostat. She asks him why, but he panics and runs away without an answer. When she gets home, her heart is still racing and she feels incredibly hot. She realizes Subaki has a very dirty mind. The next day in class, Subaki looks at Urabe sleeping. For a second, his mind plays tricks on him and she looks naked. After school, following their usual drool ritual, he starts imagining her naked again. Without thinking, he hugs her. Urabe instantly pulls out her scissors, but she sees he has a small scratch on his arm. She gets worried and takes him to her house to give him first aid. In her room, she cuts up a picture frame with her scissors. Then, she cleans his cut. She tells him about a strange dream she had last night that made her pillow all wet. Her face turns red. She gives him her drool to taste. As soon as he licks it, his head feels heavy. He starts to see her naked again and gets up to leave in a hurry. She tries to stop him, but he accidentally pushes her onto the bed. Just as he is about to fall on top, he swerves like a clumsy action hero and smashes straight into the bedpost instead. A huge bump instantly pops up on his head, like a cartoon scene. She hugs him tightly and says it's fine to fall on her if the other option is self-destruction by furniture. After patching up his brand new lump, he gets ready to leave. Before he leaves, he asks about her dream, but all she'll say is that he was in it. She goes to her bed and remembers the dream. At the same time, Subaki has a dream in which Urabe is creating copies of herself, all without clothes. The copies surround him. The next day at school, he sees Ueno with a cut on his forehead. He finds out Oka caused it while trying to cut Ueno's bangs with scissors. Subaki knows Oka is definitely copying Urabe now. Meanwhile, a girl named Suwano arrives and says Subaki has been called to the faculty room. Spotting the wound, she takes off the old gauze and places a fresh bandage on the forehead like a nurse on speedrun mode. Without hesitation, she grabs his arm and starts dragging him. Urabe, who was napping in class, wakes up right in time to see Suwano doing all this. On the way to the faculty room, Subaki asks Suwano to give back the old gauze. Suwano is about to toss it in the trash, but he stops her. After school, Urabe sees the old gauze on his forehead, but she knows it's because he replaced the one Suwano put on him. Subaki has decided to wear it as long as he can. Later, after tasting her drool, he hugs her. This time, Urabe doesn't pull out her panty scissors. He never has any idea what his mysterious girlfriend is thinking, but that's what makes him so happy when they can connect. As soon as he gets home, Subaki sees his older sister Yoko with a little drool on her chin. After she wakes up, he tells her she was drooling and asks her if she has a boyfriend. She doesn't answer and just calls him weird. Subaki wonders if she has a boyfriend and if her boyfriend thinks she looks cute when she's drooling. Later at the market, Urabe bumps into Tsubaki's sister Yoko. Yoko greets her and asks if she'll come with her for a minute. They get coffee and Yoko holds Urabe's school uniform, which brings back memories for her. Yoko tells Urabe that she went to the same high school as Subaki and that seeing her brought back a lot of memories. Yoko then asks Urabe if she's heard any rumors about her brother having a girlfriend. She thinks he must like a girl because he's 17, and when she was that age, she also likes someone. She laughs and tells Urabe what happened the day before when Subaki came home and told her she was drooling, and then asks that strange question. Turns out she isn't just spacing out, she's dreaming about her own high school days with her boyfriend. And yes, drool is involved. Back then, the guy snapped the picture of her sleeping and drooling like a broken faucet. Urabe asks what happened to him, and Yoko explains that he moved to a university way out in the Kansai region. Long distance hit harder than a bad Wi-Fi signal, and they slowly drifted apart. Even now, she sometimes wonders if he got himself a new girlfriend and tossed that drool photo in the trash. After their conversation, Yoko thanks Urabe for listening to her boring stories and gives her a sakura mochi, a type of sweet rice cake which their family loves. Later, Subaki and his sister visit their family grave. They place sakura mochi on the grave since their mother loved it. After paying their respects, they leave. On the way, Yoko tells him she will look after him in their mom's place until he turns 20 and can manage things on his own. Their father says Yoko can move out if she wants, but she refuses, joking that they don't even know how to cook. Later, Urabe tells Subaki that she met his sister and heard all about her high school boyfriend. He's completely surprised because he had no idea. She also tells him that Yoko gave her a sakuramochi. He explains that his mom loves sakuramochi and they give it as an offering. He says he feels good when he visits his mom's grave, adding that she died when he was little, so he's used to not having her around. Urabe gives him her drool and asks if he has any plans for Sunday because she wants to visit his mom's grave with him. On Sunday, before he leaves, he tells Yoko not to hold back if she ever likes someone. They had already planned to meet at Kazamadai Station around 2 p.m. Since they're not in their school uniforms, Subaki wonders if this can be considered a date. Urabe shows up right at 2 in the afternoon, holding flowers and offerings for the visit. Subaki gets surprised because she looks dressed more like she's about to hit the dance floor than a graveyard. On the walk there, he keeps thinking how weird it feels to mix a date with a grave visit, like combining romance with a horror movie marathon. At the grave, she lays down bacon-wrapped meat as an offering, proudly saying his mother deserves to taste it. She explains the reason for her fancy dress. She wanted to look cute for her boyfriend's mom. Subaki is shocked by her thoughtful gesture. She asks him what his mother was like, but he doesn't have many memories since he was only 7 when she died. She asks him when the grave was built. She asks for his left hand. After holding it, she tells him to place his hand on the grave while they exchange drool. They put their fingers in each other's mouths. He feels a surprising softness, warmth, and sliminess inside Urabe's mouth. As soon as they exchange drool, he feels wonderful. Urabe starts crying, explaining that when Subaki's mom died, he cried. She believes this is why tears are streaming down their faces right right now. There should have been more smiles than tears in that moment. She thinks their bond exists because of his mom, dad, and sister, and wishes to become just as important. Sububaki smiles with tears in his eyes, looking like an emotional anime poster. On the way back, he feels it might be a bit awkward to swap drool right in front of his mother's grave, but she calmly replies that it was unavoidable. After all, they will eventually be doing things way more inappropriate. The cherry blossoms bloom in the background, as if nature itself is saying, "Yeah, get ready, things are about to get spicy."